Welcome to Green TV, the show dedicated to positive, green, New Deal solutions and the candidates that advocate for them. I'm Gail Parker, your host for today. Green TV is proud to announce that we will sponsor a televised debate for the Arlington County Board's open position in the November election. The three candidates are Audrey Clement, who is in our studio today with us, Eric Gutschall, did I say that right? Gutschall, and Charles McCullough. All three candidates have been invited and are encouraged to participate in the debate. We hope that you will tune in for an opportunity to evaluate these candidates from the comfort of your own home. And as I said, we have Audrey Clement in the studio today. Audrey is still a member of the Green Party?
I'm a member of the Green Party of Virginia.
I see, great. And Audrey is also a frequent guest on our show, and we have more on Audrey later. We want to remind folks that Green TV is about Green New Deal eco-jobs for the economy, new jobs, positive solutions. Eco-capitalism, prices must tell the environmental truth. Green TV is about the green industrial revolution, solar jobs, wind jobs, geothermal jobs, rail jobs, weatherization jobs, conservation jobs, efficiency jobs. Green TV is about building green neighborhoods, walkable, bikeable, pedestrian and rail-friendly communities. It's about having cleaner air and cleaner water and cutting taxpayer subsidies to zero for fossil fuel, big oil, and big auto. Green TV is about renewable energy, free energy, clean energy. Rail built anywhere in America benefits all of America. Rail can move people, the economy, and the nation forward. And now, these short messages.
I'm Audrey Clement, the independent candidate for Arlington County Board. As a 13-year Westover resident and civic activist with a PhD in political science and service as a congressional fellow, I'm running for County Board because Arlington faces several crises that County Board has failed to address. Among them, overcrowded schools, loss of green space, and an office vacancy rate double the historic average. If elected, I pledge to emphasize basic services like streets, schools, libraries, and public safety, seek tax relief for residences and businesses, and stop the exodus of federal agencies from Arlington. Promote consolidation of housing programs to improve efficiency. Promote installation of efficient renewable energy in all public schools, and provide a voice on County Board for all taxpayers. If you share my agenda, then spread the word about my candidacy. Donate to my campaign. Together we can make the Arlington way more than an empty phrase. I'm Audrey Clement, and I authorized and paid for this.
In 2005, Gail Parker's More Trains, Less Traffic campaign made Gail the first candidate in Virginia to run on the platform for rail. Gail is the first candidate in the nation to run for public office on a campaign advocating for rail as a national security concern that makes the U.S. independent of fossil fuels and makes our air and water healthier. As an on-ballot candidate, Gail advocated for rail in 11 consecutive campaigns, including 2 state-level campaigns for U.S. Senate, and encouraged other candidates to include rail in their platforms. In addition, Gail serves the environment through renewable energy advocacy, and as she picks up steam, the rail platform now champions the handicapped and the elderly. A proud Air Force veteran, civil servant, mother, and grandmother, Gail is on a mission to show that rail built anywhere in America benefits all of America.
33,000 Americans are killed on our roadways every year. 430,000 Americans are injured or maimed on our roadways every year. Every year. Rail is safer. Rail saves lives. Rail cuts dependency on fossil fuels. We can build high-speed rail nationwide for half the total cost of rebuilding roadways and bridges. Rail is fiscally conservative and socially responsible.
If you share Gail's belief that every American deserves a say in the decisions that affect their lives, spread the word about this positive solution to today's issues and climb aboard our campaign for rail and renewable energy.
These petition signatures were collected from thousands of Americans for more trains and less traffic. I'm Gail Parker, and I approved this message. You're watching Green TV, the show dedicated to positive, green, New Deal solutions and the candidates that advocate for them. And now we would like to meet you to meet one of those candidates, Audrey Clement, candidate for Arlington County Board. Welcome, Audrey.
I'm pleased to be here, Gail.
Thank you so much. And for our viewers, Audrey, would you tell us again a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, and
Yes. Well, first of all, I'm a 13-year resident of Arlington County, and I've lived in the D.C. area for about 25 years. I'm originally from Pittsburgh, spent years in Philadelphia, then moved to the D.C. area around 1989. I have a PhD in political science with a specialization in survey research, which is voting behavior. And I served on Capitol Hill for a brief period of time in 1987. That was the 100th Congress. I'm currently employed as a government contractor, and I have been for the full extent of time that I've been in the D.C. area since 1989. And basically, I'm a statistical computer programmer.
I see, and that's a very good resume there you have. And your family, do you have family?
Well, unfortunately, my siblings are deceased, as are my parents, and I never married. So the answer is no. I do have a pet cat, however, and he is a member of my family. His name is Molotov.
Molotov.
Yes, and Molotov is quite a famous character. He was acquired from the Arlington Animal Welfare League some 9 years ago. Having been fostered by them, and his claim to fame was that he was until very recently an absolutely vicious predator. Yes, he kept the rat and mouse population of my Westover neighborhood under control for several years, single-handedly.
Wow.
But he's recently retired from that occupation. And so he now spends most of his time sleeping in the apartment.
I see. Okay, well, that's great. Well, I know that you have been on the ballot since almost since day one, and have been actively campaigning. So, how is your campaign going? What's going on with your campaign?
Okay, this is my 7th run, I believe, for county board. I think it's my 7th run. I've been running ever since 2011, and I did run once for Arlington School Board as well. This year, I've already dropped over 10,000 pieces of literature. I'm running ads in the Sun Gazette, which InsideNova.com online, and we'll be running an ad in Arl Now's online blog. And I have also paid a canvasser to help me drop, several canvassers to help me drop literature at homes and at events.
Sounds like you're getting your message out there. Do you have an opportunity to talk with the voters?
Well, when I'm on the street dropping literature, I invariably encounter voters. And most of the voters indicate that they like my message. The thing that they like most, to be truthful with you, Gail, the green part of my message is not what grabs them. It's the independent part that grabs them.
Ah, interesting.
Yes, they say independent is the way to go. That, to me, that clearly signifies that they are unhappy with the two-party system.
That is a good news. That is good news. Well, as one of the questions that I'm going to be asking the other two candidates are, what are your qualifications for public office and your oral resume? You've given us a pretty good summary there, but would you like to go into it more?
Yes, people want to know, well, what makes you qualified for this particular position? First of all, why are you interested in it? And secondly, what makes you think you're more qualified than your rivals? Okay, well, first of all, I'm interested in the position because with a PhD in political science, it's fairly obvious that I'm interested in and always have been interested in good government. I don't have the funds to run for Congress, and I can't, being a realist, I'm not going to delude myself into thinking that I can or will. So I've just set my sights on an office which I think I can, I could be electable, or I could be elected based on the amount of money that I spend on these campaigns every year, which is between $10,000 and $15,000. Now, it is the case that the recent incumbents some of them have spent considerably more than that. But to get exposure, to get sufficient exposure in a local race, you probably don't have to spend much more than $50,000 to get elected, for sure.
I see.
And so that's why I'm running for local office. Now, as far as my qualifications, I would say this, that there are several problems that are facing Arlington County right now that the incumbent, though members of the incumbent party, namely Democrats, simply will not come to grips with. And these problems are development related. Actually, more to the point, these problems point out the inability of the incumbent party in Arlington County, which happens to be the Democrats, to be accountable to the voters. They consistently, generally speaking, whenever there's a conflict of interest between a developer and the neighboring communities, or the neighboring community, or civic associations, they invariably rule in favor of the developer. Now, there's several emerging crises where this has actually already happened or is about to happen. And so I believe that only by running as an independent can I reintroduce the concept of accountability to Arlington County government.
I think, good point. One of the things that I would like to emphasize, a lot of people would like to see more women involved in politics. And most generally, correct me if I'm wrong, but most generally, the entry level is the best place to enter politics. So it doesn't follow that if we are going to have more women in politics at higher levels, we must first get more women in politics at the lower levels. Would you agree? Is there a fallacy in that?
No, I agree with you 100%. I believe that, well, most people believe that non-incumbents, minor parties, and unrepresented interests have to enter the political forum or arena at the lower level, yes.
So, and you have been involved for a number of years and have been learning all of this time?
Yes, basically I've mastered the nuts and bolts of how to run a campaign. Now, a lot of folks who have been elected on their first and second tries probably consider that a waste of effort. But it's actually an avocation. I mean, it's like any other profession. There are certain things you have to learn. You have to learn the ropes in order to do it well. And I think that, first of all, I think it's I think there's value in the campaign itself. There's obviously value in a campaign that gets you elected. And there's another value, and that is that it's character building. It makes you interact better with people. I've been able to present better to my employer. That's extremely critical, especially if you have a self-funded campaign, which I do. And it makes you enjoy life more.
Excellent points to bring out. Are there any other points about your platform or issues or your positive solutions that you would like to bring out?
Well, yes, there's one singular issue that you should be aware of because you're interested in rail. And that is, just 2 nights ago, I attended a Planning Commission hearing on a VRE, that's Virginia Rail Express plans to replace the existing platform or station at Crystal City. Now, are you aware of that?
No, I wasn't.
Well, neither was I. That's actually part of the problem, the lack of publicity attendant to this. The controversy, well, first of all, there's no disagreement that the station platform needs to be relocated or replaced or rebuilt because it's inadequate. Basically, VRE is a victim of its own success, and more people are taking rail. And Crystal City competes with Union Station as one of the 2 largest, most populous destinations. The most populous being L'Enfant Plaza, which is where I work. And I can certainly attest to the fact that VRE is well used. And so they have to replace the platform, and VRE stipulated that there were 3 options, each within about a block of each other along the rail corridor in Crystal City. And they chose the option that was closest to Metro Rail. They claimed that they had 2 reasons for doing this. Number 1, it's closest to Metro Rail, and number 2, it would be the least expensive to implement. However, it requires, because they are going to expand the stop to an island platform with debarkation points on either side, they're basically going to expand within the right-of-way. One of the platforms will be adjacent to an existing high-rise condo building. And the residents are up in arms because they claim that noise is already intolerable and it will only become worse. There are also, I believe, diesel emissions involved. I mean, there are environmental impacts that VRA just simply waved aside and said they did not exist.
I see.
Or they did not. There was no comparable, difference among the options.
Yeah. Well, one of the issues that you bring up about the diesel needs to be addressed by the Virginia legislature, because right now the trains coming from the north have to stop at Union Station and switch from electric engines to diesel engines to transit Virginia. So Virginia needs to modernize and allow electric engines through Virginia, and that would solve part of that problem. But it's a well-taken issue there that needs to be brought up. So you said 2 and 3.
There are 3 options, and they chose the one that was closest in proximity to Metro Rail. Now, the citizens were basically outraged because VRE simply dismissed their objections. They claim, in other words, their objections are primarily environmental. Also, there's the noise pollution of the horn. Okay, and that will only get worse because the track will be moved closer. In order to accommodate the island platform, it will be moved closer to the condo. In fact, they will be taking some, I believe, public easement or parkland behind one of those buildings. And so the citizens presented a very persuasive argument that option 3, which is further south on Crystal City in the business district. In other words, Crystal City is basically divided into a residential in the north and a business district in the south. And they argued for the south because people who are occupying the office buildings are not going to be inconvenienced at night by these trains coming through. And and also they argued that this 3rd location is closer to the airport, which they are also planning to expand Reagan Airport terminal capacity.
I see.
So, and there are plenty of transit options within Crystal City itself to accommodate the people who disembark from VRE. So their concerns were dismissed by VRE. The Planning Commission voted because citizens were vocal and showed up, and these people are extremely articulate. I mean, many of them have pedigrees going out the yazoo.
Oh, yeah.
They have more pedigrees than I do.
As long as your arm.
Yeah, and so in other words, when you dismiss people like that, it's not, well.
It isn't. Well, it isn't over until it's over, and those are very good points that you've brought out, Audrey. Thanks very much for bringing that to our attention. Some people say that prices of fossil fuels do not tell the environmental truth. And those policies are part of both of the legacy parties, which have disrespected the earth and are responsible for the weather extremes being experienced recently, some people say. Stay tuned to find out what Audrey has to say to the victims of the weather extremes. But first, this message.
Every hour the sun's energy falls on the planet is equal to the amount of energy used by the entire human population in 1 year. The energy from the sun is in limitless supply. Unlike oil or gas, solar power is a reliable source of energy whose prices never fluctuate. Solar energy is free. How does it work? Solar electricity is generated using photovoltaic cell technology that has been optimized over years of research. Simply put, the greater the intensity of the sun, the greater the current of electricity. Solar panels collect sunlight and turn it into direct current or DC electricity. Even on cloudy days, your panels will absorb sunlight. The system's inverter then turns this DC electricity into the same electric current that comes from your traditional utility lines. Your solar electric system is connected directly to your utility power supply so that the excess power from your solar panels will be fed back to your local utility company. Why BEP? We offer incredible cost savings and an easy installation process. We'll handle everything from planning and installation to getting you all available federal and local incentives. With BEP, switching to solar is easy, affordable, accessible, and a smart investment. Contact us for your free site assessment and consultation. Get in touch with us today to learn more about our no money down, no interest for a year special offer. Solar energy. Our planet needs it. Your future needs it. Your business needs it.
The sun. Every day, the sun shines more than 3 trillion watts of free energy on the Earth. That's enough energy to power over 3 million homes for an entire year, being produced every day. Solar panels harness the energy and convert it into clean electricity to power our homes, businesses, and lifestyles. Light from the sun stimulates electrons on a solar panel. These electrons create DC, or direct current electricity. Solar electricity travels from the panels on your roof through an inverter to the circuit breaker panel of your building. An inverter changes DC electricity into usable AC, or alternating current electricity before sending it to the breaker panel of your building. Your home uses that electricity to power the electronic devices we use every day. It's like having your own power plant on your roof with an endless supply of clean energy. Anytime the panels are producing more energy than you are using, like sunny days when you are on vacation, the excess energy is sent back to your utility company where they are required to buy back your excess electricity at the same rates they would normally charge, a concept called net metering. The utility company purchases your excess solar electricity and sells that energy to homes and businesses in your neighborhood. Even homes and businesses that do not have solar panels are still buying your excess solar electricity. When the sun goes down, your home or business purchases electricity from your local utility company the same way it has in the past. However, credits from your excess solar energy produced during the day will offset nighttime charges, which are much cheaper than peak daytime rates. This maximizes your savings through time of use billing, where you are selling energy to the utility during daytime peak hours while buying energy during nighttime off-peak hours. Instead of buying electricity from a power plant that burns coal and other pollutants, you are taking advantage of the free, abundant energy of the sun. As energy rates continue to go up, your system produces clean, renewable energy at no cost to you. Now you get to choose how much to spend on electricity. Imagine if we could do that with gasoline prices. Today, there are some incredible incentives and rebate to help pay for solar installation. Finance programs can help you install panels for as little as $500 down. Increase the value of your home or business by reducing your energy costs. Businesses will increase profits, while homeowners will increase their home's market value. Help save the environment and reduce global warming. Start producing your own clean energy. For more information, visit Solar Buddy's system quote page to see how solar will benefit your home or business today.
Renewable energy is free energy. It's clean energy. Rail is safer and can run on renewable energy. We need more trains and less traffic. Rail built anywhere in America benefits all of America. So Audrey, before the message, we were talking about a question. As you probably know, the Congress recently appropriated $14 billion, thankfully, for the victims of the hurricanes. And this question I'm about to ask you is about as hardball as we get on Green TV. But can you tell us your positive solution to climate change, and what do you have to say to those folks who are losing their homes and their businesses to climate change?
Well, first of all, if they're climate deniers, which I assume many of them across the Southwest are, because they voted in large numbers for Trump in the last election. If they are climate deniers, I think the first thing they need to do is to reconsider whether or not that makes sense. And if they do come around to the position that there is, that most of the scientists in the world have already consensus on, namely that there is a connection between climate change and the increased intensity of extreme weather events, that they should consider electing someone else to represent them in Congress and the White House the next time around. So I think that action on climate is, first of all, I think that there's absolutely no question that climate change is linked to extreme weather events. And that there's a clear connection between the ability to remedy the situation and who we have elected to high office. So that would be my remedy is to replace Congress with folks of any partisan persuasion who believe in climate change and the anthropomorphic or the human origins of it.
And that is the last word. That's all we have for today. Thank you very much for being on Green TV, Audrey. I'm Gail Farrell Parker. Please join us again next time for Green TV.